Hello, my name's James Musselwhite, a portrait photographer down here in Portsmouth in the UK, and pointer and shooter behind the project A Portrait of a Wrestler, and I welcome you to this, the latest in our video series, revisiting photographic shoots that we had with wrestlers, in this case back in 2014, and this is our first meeting with the Pastor William Eaver. Now I first saw Pastor at a Progress show. It's the first Progress show I went to go and see as a fan. I was sat sort of 4 rows from the front, and I saw this guy come to the ring to sort of like this church music and blessing people with his Bible on the way to the ring, and then when he got in the ring he had this amazing physique. I wouldn't be privy of me to say what sort of deity or godlike person he looked like, but he certainly looks like someone, and I thought I've got to get that guy in studio. So I emailed him at like the gimmicked up email address of like pastorsaves.com or whatever it was at the time, I can't remember, and he replied to me in character, and I thought, oh blimey, he's actually coming to my studio and he wants to shoot, and I don't know quite what I've got myself in for. What I actually got myself in for was to meet one of the most charming, lovely people I've met in professional wrestling, and I'm really looking forward to sharing with you some of the images from that shoot now. I'm going to start off here with this image straight into the camera. He brought all of the robes with him, a Bible with him as one of the props, and just a straight up shoot into the camera, really simple. 2 lights set up again just to give us a fairly even lighting either side. Good place to start, and again just looking at that hand placement on that Bible, making sure we can see most of the fingers and making sure there's nothing sort of odd or weird about that. Just a nice simple shot straight in there. And then the addition of dry ice just across the whole image and behind. There's a hair light on this picture here. Hasn't caught enough of the hair for me, but it has lit up the dry ice around there, and we've just got that intense stare straight into camera again. Got rid of the dry ice in this one, gone for a black and white conversion to make the most of these white lines coming up and down, sort of like the front of the pastor's uniform there. An intense look into the camera and just catching this page on the turn. So I just got him just to turn pages as he was doing it, and just catching it on the turn makes it look like a more realistic, sort of believable shot, and it's slightly intimidating angle as well, sort of with him looking up towards you there. This one again, we've got a better hair light on this one, so you can see where the hair's sort of lit up all the way around. So we've used the hair light better. There's a reflector down on this side. We can see on the catch lights in the eyes. This is always the giveaway. Got the big soft box quite close up here, over on the left-hand side, shooting down, and then this little catch light here is just showing us that we've got, in this instance, a silver reflector bouncing a bit of light back in, just to give us as much light back onto the Bible, underneath the hand, and onto the robes as possible, so nothing's going too dark into darkness, really. We're getting exposure across the whole image. And then this element of the shoot, using negative space to sort of speak to as if he's sort of giving a sermon, I guess. The sermon in this instance was Morrissey lyrics from the late 80s, early 90s. I just said you need to say something so it looks believable and looks real, so he chose to spit some Morrissey rhythms and lines. That's what it is. And again here, this image is actually flipped. I flipped the image around, which meant that I had to cut and paste the Holy Bible back on. Had to flip that and put that back onto the Bible. But again, just using that hand to help tell the story. Narrow lighting across, a little bit of light on the hand as well, and just I think there's a little bit of fan in there for me. I've put a fan on him just to blow a bit of that hair sort of coming across. And then a real simple shot again. If I was to redo this one, I'd lose this little bit of hair here. It's a little bit distracting, but we've got hair, we've got a nice bit of exposure across the whole face. Nice profile shot looking into that negative space again. Simple one light setup. This one's done with a neutral density filter. We've got really shallow aperture, probably shooting on a prime 50mm, or maybe, I think probably a prime 50mm lens here. So we've got real sharpness in those eyes and on the moustache there. And there's an almost immediate drop off here. You can see how it almost immediately drops off, and certainly with this hair in the foreground. And that's achieved with the neutral density filter, 3-stop neutral density filter, 2 lights either side, which means that we can open up that aperture to shoot a nice narrow depth of field. Nice intensity on that one, and I like, although that's distracting, I kind of like it. And then 45 minutes into the session, we eventually got him to take his robe off and reveal this amazing physique he had at the time. Stories told in this one. Again, a single one light setup. He's taken 2 steps forward towards me to the point at which I'm focusing, and that's where I'm taking the image, just to give us a sort of like a more realistic movement, I suppose, there. And then looking straight into the camera, getting yourself veiny, getting yourself sort of pumped up. So a few press ups in the studio just to do all of that. Nice hair light on there as well. Add the dry ice again, just to give us a little bit more texture, a little bit more mood. And then this one, a close-up 85mm shot. Not a huge fan of this one because the hands look kind of disassociated from the rest of the body. They're not conjoined to anything there. Although they help telling the story, they just kind of stick out for me a little bit. I do like the intensity, but if I was to reshoot this one again, I probably wouldn't bother with the hands, so I'd just take them out and just have it as a straight-up panoramic up and down. Story's told with this one. If you don't know the story we're trying to tell here, it's easy story to tell again. Nice positioning, a little bit of a dodge there on the Bible just to make sure we get the most out of that, but nice dark tones in there, but making sure that although it's dark, nothing's gone into deep black. There's tonality throughout that whole picture so that we're capturing everything. Hugging into the Bible there, close the eyes to help tell the story. Sometimes closing eyes in pictures can add a bit of mystery and help tell the story even further. And then finally here, a nice low angle on this shot. Simple light coming across from the left hand side with a kicker light on this right hand side to make the most of the muscular definition on the tricep here. It's got muscles here, I don't even know what they are. And holding the Bible so I can see all of the words in the Bible. See all of the tonality throughout the hair. And a nice look off, off camera really. Nice positioning. It's a nice dominant shot. This is the shot that eventually made it through to the panel. It's one of my favourite shots. The thing I love most about this shot is that it was once used at the Birmingham NEC at the National Photography Show as a large 40-inch print to sort of advertise a printing service there. It was right in the middle of the hall, and I think to date it's the only image that's received a formal complaint to be taken down from a customer at that show, of which tens of thousands of people passed through for the whole week. I'm very proud of that. They were complaining about the placement of the crucifix, if you need to know. And it was exhibited last week at a show in Stockholm, I was told, and I was told that it was the most viewed and photographed picture at that particular exhibition, so super proud of that. We've got a great relationship with the pastor, always stayed in touch, always been up for photos. He's a really lovely, positive guy to be around, a lovely sort of force to have in the locker room. He has an amazing story. If you don't know his story, you need to check out Tuesday Night Jaw, Jim Smallman's podcast, where he goes into great detail there. I helped him with his training for his London Marathon attempt, which he did last year. He was going to do it again this year, but sadly got injured at a progress show, so he's up for doing it next year, and hopefully I'll be fit enough to do it with him too. It'll be a real experience to sort of run 26 miles around London with the pastor. Should be good fun. Join us next week when I'll be taking us back to 2014 again. We're going to be doing a double shoot. We're going to be looking at Jordan and a character called Little Legs, who was an amazing subject to photograph. We're going to be doing both of those. Jordan's got an amazing story about the photograph we shot of him, and Little Legs is Little Legs. It's going to be fun. If you've enjoyed what you've seen today, then hit the subscribe button. If you like, you can follow me on the Instagram and the Twitter at Y2JimBob. It's Portrait of a Wrestler everywhere else. And as ever, all the very best.